Hi there babies, this is Cassandra. I'm a Riffle in Time and I'm so glad you're here. I am doing a little overview video today of what 2023 is going to look like for me. The first part, I think I'm going to do a little chat, just talk about me and the shop and our plans. And the second half, I will do more about my tarot practice and we'll look at a couple decks. If you're here for just decks, skip ahead a couple minutes. If not, let's get into it. I wanted to share here, because I don't think I have yet, I did leave my other job and I'm staying home and homeschooling my son and also trying to focus on a Riffle in Time full time. So that has kind of brought up a couple other income streams and the little projects I've been working on, and I wanted to share them with you. One is, actually, I'm wearing a shirt today. I've been designing some shirts, doing some collage art. It's been really fun. And I opened the Etsy shop this month and also put the comfort color versions of my shirts on the website. I have a lot more on the Etsy shop, but I really like the fit of like the comfort colors, which is the brand, by the way, and just really like the relaxed and feel of it. So I put those ones on there, but I have like even newer designs on the actual Etsy shop if you want to check that out. Also, I have been doing tarot readings, which I have not done before. So I've been doing for events the physical readings, and I wanted to give you a peek at it. It usually comes like sealed like this, but I've been doing tarot readings for the introverted and socially awkward, where you don't actually physically have to sit and talk to me. I give you and you keep two cards, and I do a little front and back handwritten note about the meaning, and it's been really special. I've been loving that. I offer that actually online too to ship, or I can do like a video social media thing or an email and just like type it out and send a picture. So those are the other options. You can grab that on the website as well. And then I think the last thing I wanted to talk about is just events. I've been wanting to focus on events, and that's one of the reasons I ended up leaving my other job, is just so I can be there. I'm scheduling 2 to 3 events a month, probably for the remainder of the year if I can. I'm gonna do as many as I can. There might be months where that doesn't happen or that looks a little different, but I really want to try to stay consistent with that. I love being out there and seeing you guys and sharing these decks. You can flip through the binders, look at the books, and like actually get into the cards. So that's always really fun, and I've been offering some new things there. I offer some Crystal Bar soap products, which are like crystal bath bombs, the bath salts. I've been offering some of the creators, have like pins, stickers, prints, things like that. I've been dabbling in a couple books, and it's just growing with me, really. The events, I keep adding on tables, it seems. So that's been really great. I've been doing a lot of different kinds of events too. So if you know any events in the Columbus, Ohio area, let me know. Leave them in the comments below. I would love to apply and be there. So on to the decks, I guess. First, I want to talk about really the focus of my practice this year. One of like the greatest joys for me is writing. I love to journal. I love to do creative writing, and it's something over the years that it seems like it's the first thing to fall off when I get too overwhelmed or busy, because it feels like a guilty pleasure almost, because I do love it so much. It's like that chocolate cake. And I think one of my favorite ways to work with tarot is through journaling. So I really want to focus on that this year. I want to stay with it because it feels like magic. I have a couple decks here I want to talk about. First is the deck that I creative write with the most. This and, oh, actually, I am missing a deck. Ooh. Okay, these two. These two, you know what I'm going to say. Blood Moon. It's out of print. As soon as there is a reprint, I'm going to have it in the shop. And I will show you a little peeky, but it's currently out of print. So don't be mad at me. But it's just one of those decks that just provoke me in like the most creative way. I want to write little stories about them. So I want to do more of that this year. It really just brings me a lot of joy. I like to write poems and short stories with both of these decks actually. But I try not to show the blood moon too much since it is out of print and that just feels evil. But let me be careful with it actually. But it's just one of those decks. It's like, if I don't show it to you, I feel like I'm lying. I feel like I'm lying. It is not wanting to go back in this box for whatever reason. There we go. It is having a hard time today. The other deck, which you saw, was the Somnia Tarot. Now, this is my in-event only exclusive. So I only have a couple of these and I take them to events and that's the only place I sell them. So it's like a sweet little treat for those who come out and see me. But it's another, it's just the images are so beautiful. I love this as a photography deck. I really do. I do have a pre-order for the illustrated copy that is coming out this year, I believe. But it's going to be exciting to have, but I don't think it's going to be the same for me as the photographed because I really do love the photography part of it so much. I do a lot of writing with it. So this is another deck I'm obviously wanting to focus on this year because of that. And why am I dropping so many decks today? What is going on? I think the rest of these are all decks I'm going to journal with in a different way. So I'm not going to do like creative writing, but I'm going to do more tarot practice journaling things with. So Your Wise Animal Body, I am going to be doing more of like a healing kind of self-care practice with. So this one actually comes with a journal. It's a hardback journal. And let me open up. So you have 2 pages to go over. Reflection and practices and body landscape for the day. And I think that's really beautiful. Also, when you pull a card, you get a little question or two that comes with every card. So for pleasure, do you allow yourself pleasurable activities, nice thoughts, and the occasional indulgence? Are you mindful of pleasure when you're in it? Which is really fun to journal with. And I really do want to do some nervous system work this year. Next up is one that should be no surprise, the Gentle Tarot. Now I'm going to show you the linen edition because this is my favorite edition. Just because the cards are smaller and the linen is easier for my hands to shuffle. I really love this edition for the ease of riffle. I do really love these images. They're sweet and kind and gentle, and that's exactly what it's meant to be. But also the guidebook is really what makes this choice such a powerful one for me. Now, if you haven't seen the guidebook, I'm going to give you a peek here because it's really the reason I journal with this deck so much. This is the full-size guidebook and it's beautiful. Okay, so you have the image here. You have like your little affirmation, the meaning of the card, then it goes into upright or reversed and it gives you questions and also gives you an art symbolism kind of like paragraph or two, which is also beautiful. But let's find, so in reversed, in a state of acceptance, looking ahead and reconnecting with peace, what does self-forgiveness feel like? Even if you haven't fully reached it, imagine and write down what it feels like. Draw it, sing it, dance it. Through tough times have a lot to teach you. I like to imagine that these lessons remove heavy, unnecessary items from our ethereal backpack, making more space, more freedom, and more power to live a life you love. What are some of the perspectives, habits, people that you were able to remove? And it'll keep going, but it's just amazing journal tool. So if you do love to journal with tarot, that's probably one of my number 1 recommendations is the Gentle Tarot. There's even a guidebook, journal stickers, like the deck comes in 3 different options. I think it's just like the most well-rounded journal situation. Next, and honestly, this is my final deck actually. I didn't want to just include decks I'm going to use because there are decks like Outgrow Yourself. I use it every day, but I don't usually journal with it. It's like a card a day pull. There's so many decks that I love to use in just the general sense of how most people use tarot. But since I wanted to focus on journaling this year, I wanted to focus on my journal decks. And last but certainly not least is the Energy Archaeology Oracle. I have gushed over this deck plenty of times on this channel. Not only are the images absolutely beautiful and the concepts just like no other Oracle deck I've ever had, it really, the guidebook that comes with it is just amazing. It's actually crazy that this is a set. Like, for the price point too, I mean, it's a really great set. It's something special. I really love everything about this deck. So let me try to be brief and not talk your face off about it. But here is like your little, just like the affirmation you get with most cards, but then there's so much more. You have properties, so it goes into elements, it goes to if it's in balance or out of balance. You have the like actual anatomy, cards that are associated with it, energy, wisdom, and then you still have like 4 or 5 questions at the bottom so you can journal with, and it's amazing. I find that there's so much in this book. I want to actually sit down and just read it cover to cover, which I've actually never done. I don't tend to read guidebooks that way, but there are so many good spreads in here. There's so much great information. I can't get over it. But one of my favorite things to do with this deck is when I'm like holding pain somewhere, I will come to this index here, which is correlated with the skeletal system. And I try to find, at least to my best ability, the place in my body that's hurting the most. And I go and I find that card and I find it in the book and I just journal it out, work it out. And a lot of times, I swear to you, it's unreal how relevant emotionally that physical pain is. So it's a beautiful deck, it's a beautiful guidebook, and I am really excited to spend time with it. I actually ran out of stock of it last year and didn't really spend any time with it just because I was focused on decks that are in the shop so much that when it was out of the shop, I didn't really spend any time with it, and I've missed it dearly. So really, I just want to journal. I want to journal and write and just really soak in the cards. I don't think I'm going to be doing any learning this year, tarot-wise or other. I know that maybe next year or the year after, I do want to get into the Celestial Bodies deck, where the astrology. Oh, here, I'll grab it. The astrology and numerology oracle deck. I really do want to get in this one year, but this is not going to be the year for it. I'm really excited. I have the altar size. It's huge. I've thought about even doing it in a small sense of just like, as I keep up with things, like having stuff on my, like the cards on my altar, just to familiarize myself with it a little more before I deep dive. But I truly want to give this like my full attention when I do it. Obviously, like the Thoth, there's so many things in tarot that you can really like learn and dive into. But I think this year isn't going to be a learning year. I think this year is really going to be about reconnecting with my favorite part about tarot, and which is like diving deeper into myself and my creativity and really connecting with it in the way that it feels best to me. So I love you. I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait to see more of you this year.